Hey Marauders, welcome back to the Road to the Bad Batch. This is part 2 of the Umbara arc. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, make sure to check the links below to catch up there first. Spoiler alert for the following episodes: Season 4, Episode 9, Plan of Dissent, and Season 4, Episode 10, Carnage of Krell. Remember, we already covered the first 2 episodes of the Umbara arc, so please check out that first if you haven't already. Let's see, where were we? Ah yes, the Umbaran airbase. Five decides to go on with the plan to infiltrate the supply ship against Krell's orders. Hardcase and Jesse readily volunteer to execute the plan. Fives tells his plan to Rex. Rex warns them that it's against orders, and it's also a suicide mission. Rex says he can't help them if they get caught afterwards, but doesn't interfere with them executing this plan. Back in the barracks, Dogma wakes up to see that Hardcase, Jesse, and Fives are gone. He wakes up Tup to complain to him about it. Dogma wants to report them to Krell for disobeying orders. Tup doesn't want to because he believes in their mission. The 3 soldiers fly through the ongoing battle over the planet, avoiding both Republic and Separatist fighters. No one sees them slip by as they make their way to the Separatist supply ship, just another trio of Umbaran fighters. Meanwhile, Krell confronts Rex about the 3 ships. Rex says he authorized the launch of ships for reconnaissance of the area, covering for Fives' true mission. Dogma and Tup arrive immediately after, claiming that they need to speak to General Krell. Rex stops them both, saying that they can report it to him and he can relay the message. Dogma changes his mind immediately, saying it's not that important, and they leave. Fives and the boys infiltrate the supply ship. The droids quickly realize they're under attack and go on the defensive. All 3 of them make a run for the reactor core, but it's protected by a ray shield and they're unable to damage it. Fives and Jesse hold off approaching droids, and suddenly Hardcase decides to run in the explosives on foot. There's a convenient small doorway placed right next to this ray shield that has no shield whatsoever. Hardcase orders the other 2 to leave and sacrifices himself for the cause. He runs the explosives in, throwing it at the reactor core. Hardcase watches Fives and Jesse escape and says, "Live to fight another day, boys." Rex and Tup greet Fives and Jesse upon their return, seeing that Hardcase didn't make it back. Sergeant Apo appears, requesting that Fives and Jesse are to report to General Krell immediately. Rex accepts responsibility for their actions, saying that he gave the order and requests that any punishment be given to him as their commanding officer. Fives respectfully requests that Rex's admission of guilt is to be denied and accepts full blame and responsibility for the actions that he took. Krell informs them all that Fives and Jesse have committed treason, and therefore they will be court-martialed, found guilty, and executed. Rex approaches Krell, asking him to reconsider. Krell suddenly agrees with Rex that court-martialing them would be a waste of time, and changes his mind. He decides they should be executed immediately instead. Rex goes to Fives and Jesse to inform them that Krell wants to execute them both. Fives tells Rex that Krell has just been using him, saying that Krell needs Rex's loyalty in order to have complete control over the squad. A firing squad of 6 troopers is selected. The only named troopers in the squad are Kix and Tup. Dogma is the one in charge of this selected squad. Just as they were about to fire, Fives calls out, saying this was wrong. Fives goes on to say that they're loyal soldiers, they follow orders, and they're not a bunch of unthinking droids. We are men. Dogma orders them to fire while Fives is speaking. All 6 shots miss, intentionally, and the entire firing squad drops their weapons. Dogma is in disbelief at this. Rex is thrilled, saying that the squad did the right thing. Krell summons Rex and Dogma, admonishing them for not destroying these clones, and belittles Rex just by calling him clone the entire time. Rex pushes back, correcting him that it's actually Captain. A transmission interrupts them from escalating farther, as a trooper from the 212th informs them that the Umbarans have slightly changed up their attack, and they are allegedly stealing weapons and uniforms. Krell orders that Fives and Jesse are to be locked up while the rest of the 501st is to prepare for moving out to support the 212th. Krell reminds Rex to inform everyone that the Umbarans may be disguised as clones. The troops move out and Krell is not at the front lines, as per usual. They come across another Vixis in the ground and avoid losing anyone this time. The 501st is under attack suddenly. They are unable to get a clear visual on who is attacking. They launch mortars at the attackers and eventually get a visual. They see clones attacking them, and they assume they are disguised Umbarans. Upon getting closer though, Rex notices a dead 212 soldier and sees that he's actually a clone within that clone armor, not the Umbarans as Krell had informed them. Rex runs through the middle of the firefight, ordering everyone to stop and take off their helmets to show their true identities. Rex runs through, helmetless, yelling for a ceasefire until he reaches a 212 soldier, rips off his helmet to show everyone his well. Everyone, on both sides, are stunned that they are shooting at each other. The 501st tries to figure out what just happened. Medic Kix found the 212 squad leader Waxer, and Rex asks him what happened from his side. Waxer is mortally wounded, but informs Rex that Krell ordered the 212 to this exact spot to stop the enemy, with the instructions that the enemy would be wearing clone armor. Waxer dies immediately after telling this information. Rex addresses the surviving 501st and 212 soldiers from this skirmish, saying that what he is about to propose is highly treasonous and offers the option for anyone to opt out. Rex orders that they arrest Krell for treason against the Republic, for turning the two units against each other on purpose. The soldiers return to the Umbaran base where Krell is still holding down the fort, and Dogma leaves the group along the way. Rex releases Fives and Jesse from their cells, and they rejoin the 501st. The soldiers confront Krell in the top of the tower. Rex informs him that he is relieved of duty. Krell, of course, says, "It's treason then." Rex asks that Krell explains his actions, and Krell plays dumb at first, then of course continues his belittling of the clones, saying he was surprised that Rex was able to figure it out at all. You know, as a clone. The soldiers move in to arrest him, and Krell lashes out at all of them. Brandishing two double-bladed lightsabers, he mows down clones as they attack him. He refuses to be undermined by creatures bred in a laboratory, and jumps out of the window, attacking clones in the base below, then vacates the base completely. Dogma confronts Rex, calling him a traitor. Rex tells Dogma that even though they were engineered, they're not droids, and as clones they need to learn to make their own decisions. The soldiers take Dogma into custody now for being a traitor in turn to his own men. They continue on in pursuit of Krell. Krell, hauntingly, stalks the troops pursuing him, and yells to Rex that Rex should have trusted Fives from the start, and that Krell was just using the clones from the beginning. Krell slices down troopers, calling them his pawns and laughing all the way. Tup nearly falls into a Vixis and asks Rex to direct Krell towards him now. The troopers move and Krell takes the bait, and the Vixis grabs Krell as he gets closer. The troopers shoot at Krell while he's caught in its grasp. Krell takes out a few more troopers before slicing himself free from the Vixis, only to be stunned by Tup. Rex asks Krell why he did what he did, and Krell simply says because he can, and because the clones are inferior. Krell goes on to say he no longer believes in the Jedi and has foreseen a new power rising, and that the Jedi and the Republic will lose the war. Krell sees himself as part of this new power. Rex accuses him of being a separatist. Krell says he serves no one aside from himself and his eventual new master, Count Dooku. Krell's goal overall was to drive the Republic away from Umbara, so that way he would win favor with Dooku, and therefore make him his new apprentice in the dark side. Dogma lashes out at him after hearing this, saying that he couldn't believe that he followed Krell so blindly and became traitorous to his own brothers for him. Back outside, Rex is informed that the transmitter was tampered with, and they received word that Obi-Wan's forces successfully took the capital city, and any remaining Umbaran forces were headed for their position at the airbase. Rex orders the troops to prepare a full-scale attack. Rex and the others decide that Krell is too dangerous to be left alone, and a threat to all of the soldiers and the security of the Republic. Fives, Rex, and Jesse return to the cells. They remove Dogma from his cell as well. Rex orders Krell on his knees for execution and holds him at blaster point. Krell tries to psych Rex out of executing him, and Dogma just shoots Krell instead, killing him instantly. Dogma says that he had to do it, since Krell betrayed all of them. So the Bad Batch! This arc is monumentally heavy in the development of the clones, mainly for Rex and Fives, but also for the overall story for every clone. We know that we'll be seeing Rex in the Bad Batch at some point, with a shot of him and the crew being in the trailer. Most of the featured clones in the Umbara arc have already died at this point in the story for the Bad Batch. Fives and Tup both die in the biochip conspiracy. Jesse dies in the Siege of Mandalore. The only surviving ones that we know of are Captain Rex, and also Kix. At the end of the Umbara arc, Rex asks the ever-present question about the clones. What do we do when the war is over? We'll be getting the end of the war, and the immediate aftermath, and much more to come.